Hello and welcome to the QDCMS tutorial for the blog module. For the purposes of this tutorial, I've selected the quantumdelta.com website and I've logged in as myself. So to begin working on the blog module, we'll go to the Content tab and then the Blog option. Now the first screen that comes up is Blog Entries. But before we go into blog entries, let's talk about blogs and blog categories. Some sites have the need to have multiple blogs. If you click on blog, you can see that my site, the quantumdelta.com site, only has one blog. It's called Corporate Blog. To add a new blog, you can click Add Blog. Type the name of the blog, title of the blog, keywords, and a description if you'd like. Hit the Update button, and you've created a new blog. Within the blog screen, you also have the capability of seeing how many entries there are for each blog you have on your site and the status of that particular blog. You can click the checkbox for a blog and delete it if you mess up and create a blog that you really didn't want. Let's click on blog categories. It acts the same way. Here we can click Add Blog Category. We can see the number of entries for each blog category. Blog categories are essentially keywords or tags, if you will, a way to tag blog entries with a particular type of content. To edit the blog category, you click on the name of the blog category, and you can edit the name, the title, keywords, and description, and then hit the Update button. You can also delete. It shows the number of entries next to each blog category. So we could click on that and it would take us to the blog entries screen and filter the blog entries to just show the entries for that particular blog category. So let's cover blog entries now. We'll click on the blog entries at the top of the screen so that we can see all of our blog entries. And it works much the same way. There are a few more options in the blog entries screen than there are the other two screens that we've discussed. You'll notice that there are more columns. There are blog entry column, checkbox column, the author column, last updated by, status, and date. The date is the date published. The status, as you can see here, is published or draft. Draft means it's not showing on the website yet. Last updated by shows who the blog entry was last updated by, and the author is who shows up as the author. So with this feature, it allows you to have somebody create a blog article and then have an editor go in and edit that blog article and publish it before it actually goes live on the website. And then the blog entry name is the name of the blog entry as it shows up on the site, and the checkbox works much as it does in the other screens. However, when we click an entry, we can choose copy or delete from the top. If we click copy, it makes a copy of that blog entry that we can then update as a separate blog entry. The other options at the top of the screen in the blog entry screen are date posted and search. The combination of these two fields allow us to search for particular blog entries posted on a particular day or that contain particular content. Here we can type something in the search box, hit search, and it'll return the results that match that search criteria. If we click on blog entries again, it takes us back to the complete list of all of the blog entries. If we want to edit a blog entry, we just click on the name of that blog entry. And if we want to add a blog entry, we can click Add Blog Entry in the top right-hand corner. Let's do that and take a look at the blog entry screen. So to create a blog entry, we create an entry name, the entry itself, and we have our WYSIWYG, which allows us to insert HTML, list, format our text, insert pictures, and other types of things that might be useful in a blog entry, just as we can in other parts of content. Now remember, if you're pasting content from Word, be sure to use the Paste as Plain Text option here on the WYSIWYG toolbar. So for each blog entry, we must choose at least one category and one blog from the checkboxes here. So for this blog entry, we choose marketing and corporate blog. Here we have our status, which is defaulted to draft. And the next thing that we see is the publish on. So what we can do is we can set this to publish on some future date. So we can enter several different blog entries at one period of time that will publish gradually on our website. Down at the bottom, underneath the entry, we have advanced options. In the search engine drop-down, we can see that we can specify a title, keywords, and a description for this blog entry. Now instead of actually adding a blog entry, let's go into blog entries and click on one to update it. So let's scroll down a little bit and click on a blog entry that I was not the author of. Here we'll click on the Quantum Delta Quick Design Sites by Bernard. And since I selected a blog entry that I'm not the author of, it allows me, since I'm editing this blog entry, to set myself as the author here on the right hand column. If we go back and I select a blog entry that I have created, that's not an option because I'm already the author of that blog entry. So this allows us to easily change who the author is for a particular blog entry. Now let's spend a minute on the quantumdelta.com website and go over the blog and how it shows up on your website. Now the default page for the blog shows the latest entries. For this site, and for most sites, the default number is 10, so it'll show the latest 10 entries. And here we can see the name of the entry is a link where I can click and go to that blog entry, and then it has the date that it was published and the description for that blog entry that I put into my WYSIWYG back here within QDCMS. So back to the website, we also see that there's an archive. Sometimes this is on the right and sometimes this is on the left. The archive shows the month for each month that there is an entry and the number of entries for that particular month. If we click on a month, it'll just show us the entries for that month, sorted chronologically. Here we can click on any entry and read the entry, and it also has the author name, or the title, the author name, and then the entry itself. And down at the bottom of each entry is a form that allows people to put in their name, their email, a comment, and CAPTCHA. So what CAPTCHA is it verifies that the people making the comments on your blog are real humans. This is an image, and what they do is they type in the letters that appear in the image below and hit submit. By default, comments are pending until they're approved. So we can go into QDCMS and click on Manage Comments, and we can see all the comments for our blogs. And we can also see that we have the number of pending comments. If we click on the number of pending comments there, we can see the comments that are waiting for approval, and we can click right here and approve them. It's also important to note that in the dashboard, anything that's pending approval shows up at the top of the activity stream. Once comments have been approved, they'll show up at the bottom of that particular blog entry, such as this. And that's it for the blog module of QDCMS.